What is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back with some more Resident Evil 4 Remake gameplay today. But we're not going to be talking about Resident Evil 4 Remake. We're going to be talking about Resident Evil Death Island. As late last night, right before I went to bed, they revealed, which was leaked on the internet, the cover of what would be the Blu-ray / DVD of Death Island, which I think looks awesome. And best part about it is Jill front and center, as it should be, but also has Leon, Claire, Chris, Rebecca, and then even one of the liquors upside down on top of it. But one of the big parts about it that I thought was interesting, because it comes out July 7th in theaters, and it seems like it's only come out in Japan in theaters, but correct me if I'm wrong if there's any other places outside Japan it's coming out, but most people are wondering, is it going to be coming out in theaters in the States? And I can't answer that at this point, but what I do know is that it is coming soon, a little bit soon after that, to Blu-ray and DVD to pick up, and not even a month later, but basically we're going to be getting it July 25th, so what, like 2 or 3 weeks after that, which I think is awesome, so not too much time to wait for it. Another cool thing about it is we even got some of the extras on the thing. If you do get it, they have your normal stuff. I think the thought I'm going to be looking at is the return of Jill Valentine, how they did all that. But I want to sequence this, that we also got a new, I guess you can call it a synopsis, because the original synopsis, never even, all it mentioned was Leon and Chris, but this one, it kind of gives the impression that Jill is the main character and the person that's going to be the leading role in this whole thing. So here's a synopsis, a new one from this whole thing, as follows. In San Francisco, Jill Valentine is dealing with a zombie outbreak and a new T-virus. Leon Kennedy is on the trail of a kidnapped DARPA scientist. And Claire Redfield is investigating a monstrous fish that is killing whales in the bay. Joined by Chris Redfield and Rebecca Chambers, they discovered a trail of clues from the separate cases all converge on the same location, Alcatraz Island, when a new evil has taken residence and awaits their arrival. So there we go, and we got the trailer. What I was a little confused is, because they showed like a new trailer that came up in my feed, but it made it seem like it was like a brand new, but we got this same trailer like a month ago. I don't know if it's more of an official release, but the other one would seem pretty official. I don't know, but either way, I don't really think we need another trailer. It comes out about a month from now, so I think we'll be good until that time being. I did see a cool shot of new screenshot of Claire and Rebecca both using rocket launchers, so that's awesome. But let's get right into this whole Death Island thing, what I want, because I will say one thing, they had a showing of it only in Japan, and some people got an early preview showing of it, and I read some of the thoughts about it, and I figure I'd give you my opinions on it. And that's the thing about this stuff, I always try not to take it too much, with a grain of salt. Not that I don't believe it's true or anything, but just from the fact that everyone perceives things very differently. What most people might like, some people might not like. So the biggest thing I heard, the biggest thing I'm worried about is just, Jill. As I said, when I first saw the teaser of Death Island, I didn't give a crap about 29 seconds of it. It was only the last second of that teaser that made me actually want to watch an animated Resident Evil film, which, to be honest, I've never really cared too much for, but seeing Jill just change everything just because of Jill's long hiatus from her last canon appearance in Resident Evil 5, and it's been 14 years that we're going to, not in the Resident Evil time, but our time, 14 years that we see her past Resident Evil 5, so it's a big moment. And I've heard a lot of people say that Jill, definitely is the main character and looks great and is standing front and center. And if you can at least give me that, I'll be good. But obviously, I want to see it for myself. I want to see, Jill featured prominently, but with my own two eyes. As I said, everyone's different, how they perceive things differently, so we'll have to wait and tell. But obviously, that's the most important thing for me, is I want to see Jill used prominently, Jill being cool, and have her return actually mean something, not just be like, a moment and it never follows up. Because I think a lot of us have heard, and this is one thing I did hear, once again, I don't know, and it could be people just misconceiving this, but one interesting thing I did hear is that this movie apparently, and this is from one of the people that watched, so as I said, take it with a grain of salt, but saying that it's going to be a follow-up to a future game, maybe, or I don't know, maybe they think that way. As I said, don't be like, oh, it's confirmed or something like that. I'm just going by what other people or a comment or two said that's seen it. So take that with a grain of salt. But I would like a follow-up, obviously, because we want to see the follow-up, because we know where Chris's story is heading. But what was because this takes place before Resident Evil 7, but what happened with Jill and stuff? Obviously, another person, prominent member of the BSAA, and obviously the whole BSAA going rogue storyline. But I also want to see the other people and how they perceive too. Obviously I want to see Jill in another game. I think everyone speaks for me on that thing. But we also want to see how the other characters do. Obviously we got Claire in there, and obviously Claire, I've always said, has a unique perspective because she's kind of like the person doing the research and going to these areas trying to like gain information and news and stories. But I always feel like because I always hear the excuse, well, it's not as interesting as working for an agency. Well, let's just be honest. Lois Lane is kind of like that person that goes for stories. Is she not in the crossfire? Sometimes looking for stories, you'll find a story and stuff. And I always feel like Claire, you can easily use her in future stuff. But I want to see that combination, because they all converge for a reason. So this proves you can use any of these characters for future games. Obviously want to see them used good in this movie. I want to see great character interactions. I want to, obviously, when everyone's happy to see Leon and Jill, but I want to see, the original tag team, Chris and Jill, look good. Obviously, I know a lot of people felt words bitter, especially in Infinity Darkness, Claire and Leon, and I want to see them interact again. I like to see Rebecca interact, the old Stars members team up again. Obviously, the Redfield siblings. Honestly, my personal team up, I really want to see a lot of interactions with them. I know Leon and Jill is high, but my highest actually be Jill and Claire. I just like to see them, because I think we all know they know each other, but we've never seen them interact with each other in an actual thing, not off screen. So I really want to see that done well. I've said it before, I've said it again. I don't really care too much about the villains or even what they're fighting. They can be cool too, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, it's the character interactions I want to see, the team ups. Them talking about stuff and going about it and how they work together, and all five in that great team up shot. The villains, they could be the worst villains in the world, but as long as they give me that cool team up and have great character moments, and that's the number one thing I'm looking for in this whole thing. And obviously, we're going to get some infected creatures, and granted, it's not like I don't like them, but obviously with this movie, it's special because we're seeing this team up for the first time ever, in Resident Evil history, and I want to see it mean something. I don't want it to just be like something that just happens and it doesn't amount to anything. I wanted to see it look cool, be memorable, and as I said, follow up on it, because there's a lot of potential what they could do. Obviously, we know, as I said, we already mentioned, we know what Chris is doing. What happens with Leon. This is his latest canon entrance as well. So where does Leon go from here? Is he does he ever get that vacation? Or does he move on, or does he just stick with the agency? Like, what are they going to do with him? Because obviously a big thing people bring up a lot is, these characters, they're not getting any younger, even though they may look younger, some of them, but regardless, they're not getting any younger, and we're wondering if we're seeing them at the end. And I think all these characters in this thing, not just this movie, but they deserve to have one really good game to really flesh out their whole characters and journey from where they started into where they eventually end up, and I think they all deserve that. And obviously there's some characters that aren't in this movie. As I said, I haven't seen it, so maybe they might pop up, because I've always been adamant I'd like to see Barry, because it's not a Stars reunion without Barry, but I like to see Barry pop up, because I like to see some Barry Jill interactions. They had good moments in Resident Evil 1, and I like to see that reunion. Because you got Rebecca, Chris, Jill. You need Barry. You gotta have Barry. Everyone loves Barry, but and not just that. I want to see some other people too. And I know a lot of people have been saying, hey, BSAA. You gotta have some of the other BSAA members. Like I've heard Sheva. It'd be cool to see her and stuff. But the big thing picture here is what I'm looking for with this Death Island is just that it has the potential to be not just a solid Resident Evil, CGI movie, but also the beginning and the start of something really good that can carry over to future games and really use a lot of characters and bring them back and use them in meaningful ways, because it could really be the precursor to start a lot of things. Obviously, I've mentioned the BSA going rogue storyline, characters having their journeys continued in ways, seeing people brought back. Obviously one of the big things I've seen a lot of people mention is Revelations 3 with like Rebecca or something, or Jill or whoever, but like you can have so many things, and it can all start with Death Island. So if they're able to do this and also create a lot of plot points and threads that can attach to other future games from that point on forward in the future storylines, I'm all for it. So I'm really excited. I can't wait. But at the same time, I'm also not going to be sitting here thinking, oh, it's done, they're going to do it. Because once again, I have to believe it to see it. And as I said, I remember when I made my video about half a year ago when I was saying, why does it seem like Capcom doesn't respect Jill or Claire or something like that? I want to be proven wrong, but I have to see it. I have to see it. I've heard good things, but seeing is believing, and hopefully they do prove me wrong, and hopefully it's not just this movie, but they finally bring them back. Because as I said before, we've gotten so much Leon and Chris in various forms. It's time to bring back Jill. It's time to bring back Claire. I'm happy to see Rebecca, and hopefully we see some other characters like Barry, and I like to see Carlos and Billy. I mean, that'd be good. And by the way, it just makes sense. Billy, coming back and Alcatraz prison segment to see Rebecca again. That would just be a great moment. But a lot of potential. We could speculate all day long, but we got a month before it comes out in the theaters, and a little bit after that till it comes out on Blu-ray and DVD. But I've never been more excited for a Resident Evil CGI movie until now, because as I said before, I never really cared too much about them. They just were usually the Leon show of a little bit of Chris, but when you keep seeing it over and over, and there's so many characters you could use and do something with, it just gets repetitive and boring. But seeing Jill and Claire come back, and obviously, as I said before, I'm still a little bitter about something like Infinite Darkness, how they treated Claire. So hopefully they treat them all well with respect. But I'm really excited. I can't wait. But that is my opinion. Are you guys interested in Death Island? Do you want to see, or hopefully they do all these characters well? Are you excited to see the team up we've never seen before? And you think it'll carry over to future games? Let me know down in the comment section down below. But thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you all later. Peace.